Hi everyone, I'm coming to you today from my grandmother's backyard. And the reason I'm here is because I wanted to discuss some mobility aids that my grandmother uses. A year and a half ago, my grandmother suffered from a stroke, and in consequences to that event, her entire left side is non-functional now. So obviously we went out and bought her some mobility aids to help her get back on her feet and walk around. We all know that obviously walking is very crucial for people with limited mobility. You cannot just have them sitting on a wheelchair and just go about their business on a wheelchair, sitting down all the time. I'm going to show you now what we have bought for my grandmother, and before that my grandfather. So here we go. So our first mobility aid here is a walker, a little bit more sophisticated walker. You can see with four legs. The two front ones has wheels. The back ones are just regular I guess chair legs or a table legs that when they move forward. So when you use this walker and start moving forward, the back 2 feet is going to drag. And that's as an engineer, I see that as design deficiency, if you will. And I'm sure these people went through a lot of trouble qualifying this design with the FEA and the regulators out there. And I'm not talking shit about them, but I'm just pointing out some improvements that can be made to this design. In addition, if you look here, if you look really down here, these are where you can adjust the height of this stuff. And this is what I really dislike. So you have to push this pin in and you have to adjust the height up. So I'm fully functional, I have no physical limitations, and I have a hard time doing this. And imagine if someone is living in an elderly home care, has no one next to him. Imagine them trying to do this. I mean, they'll eventually get it, but it's an inefficient design. It's just hard to do, and there's a lot more simpler things that can be, or mechanisms that can be incorporated here. So another height adjustment mechanism here. See, I put this onto the side. So if you want to adjust the height of where your forearms rest, there's this rod here. So this takes it up and down, and you have this, you loosen these screws, you unscrew them. So you have 4 of them. By the time you take these up and down, it's just a half a day. So there might be another easy way to do this. But one thing that I like about this one is that if you're physically challenged and they get tired as they walk, so you can lean on these pads here. You can put your forearms there, grip the handle here, and you can lean and you can propel yourself forward. Another good feature of this walker is that it's completely foldable, so you can store it easily in your house. The other mobility aid that we have here is going to be another walker, and this, I'm sure everyone has seen this one. And this one, the famous tennis ball walker, I'm going to call it, because everybody and their mother use this tennis ball in the back standing legs. So I guess it's easier to drag. And, as an engineer, I just don't get that. The other thing, same height adjustment mechanism, that pin over here. You push that pin and then you have to drag the rod up and down depending on the height of the patient. And the handles are pretty simple. You just grip it here and then we'll move forward. So obviously these 2 wheelchairs my grandmother's cannot use because her entire left side is non-functional. So these are not good for her. She has to be on a wheelchair, and now she's going through some other activities that can help her gain back her mobility. So she needs professional help. That's why we have sent her to CORE, Center of Restorative Exercises. That's where she's getting help gaining back some of her mobility right now. Another thing that we bought for my grandmother is this small pedal type thing, which is good. As she's sitting on her wheelchair, she can pedal these, and you can have her move her legs, gain some mobility back, train her muscles back, gain some muscle mass. So all that is important. But the flaw with this design is that if you imagine putting this on the ground inside your house, this thing is going to drag, right? And it has no weight to hold it down. And as you can probably imagine, my grandmother or someone with a stroke that cannot operate her left side, she's only dependent on her one side, her right side, for my grandmother's situation. So this thing moves all over the place. So I think a better, more efficient design would be to try to anchor this down somehow or attach it to somewhere. Yeah, you can always put it against the wall, but still that doesn't keep it from moving up and down as she's trying to do the exercises. So, and last but not least, we got the good old-fashioned wheelchair here. And from these four things that I showed you, my grandmother uses the wheelchair the most because obviously she cannot walk by herself nor use the walkers by herself. She can't even do the bicycle thing by herself. So someone needs to be with her 24/7. And one thing we at Marquand Robotics want to do is to give some independence back to these patients, right? And help, in the meantime, also help the caretakers. So this is what I have for you today. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you had used similar mobility aids. Maybe you think they're, state-of-the-art mechanisms and systems. Please share with us your thoughts and let us know what you think. Let us know the challenges or the benefits you got from it. And let's keep the conversation going. I'll see you again with more mobility topics. Stay tuned.